the show, everyone. Now, everyone listen up, because I'm excited about bringing on my first guest. We are live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there who likes us and follows. We're going to share the show later on. I have with me Daniel Bauman, and Daniel is the owner of White Wolf Black Bear Integrated Healing. And I want to talk to you about this man because he's a shaman, which makes him very different, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You're also really cool, which I love that about you. You've been on the show for a very long time. And I know today you want to talk about some really important things to you. Listen up, everyone. I want everyone to listen and hear how to take responsibility. We talked a little bit about of your own health and things like that. First, welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Carol, as always, thank you for having me on the show. It's always a privilege.
Thank you.
And hello to our listeners on the radio, Facebook Live. Hey, guys. Carol, I'm a healer, first and foremost. I arrived in Arizona, it was 1990. And I was just passing through, or so I thought, but I fell in love with the Sonoran Desert. It's magic. And I made a decision to stay. When I made that decision, that's when the magic happened. I met a remarkable woman. Her name is Touch Hearts woman, Melody Adams. And Melody is a Native American medicine woman. She's a shaman. And for the next 2 years, we spent a lot of time together. We were working on my stuff. I was healing. But also, I was studying as her shamanic apprentice. The shaman's role in traditional cultures, they always wear 3 hats. First, they're the healers for the community, they are the spiritual leaders for the community, but also they act as day-to-day counselors. So Melody was my therapist. And I do a lot of talking, a lot of that with my clients today. And Carol, my practice, things were quiet. I was busy, but things started to shift in 2018, 2019, 2020, in that people with serious health challenges started to arrive at my door asking for help. And what's different about these folks is they all went to their doctors. And despite the health challenge, despite the efforts of the medical community, for whatever reason, the doctors couldn't help these people out. So they come to me as a last resort. And we've been working miracles, truly. But why I can help out.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because you said to me, Carol, a lot of people literally will ask me, well, how can you help me when my doctors can't?
And what that's about, there's a couple things going on there. First off, modern medicine, despite what we believe or want to believe, it's not an exact science. It's not. And there are times when our medical professionals will not be able to accurately diagnose, let alone provide a treatment protocol that's going to be effective for us. When that happens, that is awful. That's an awful place to be because we feel helpless. But why I can step in and help out is I have a different perspective on what makes up a person. See, our doctors, they're trained to address the physical body. That's what they do. But we are more than a physical body, Carol. We have a mental body. We have an emotional body. We have a spiritual body, as well as a physical body. And they're all connected. And many times the causes of our physical health challenges, the cause is not physical in nature, in that our emotional health affects our physical health, our mental health affects our physical health, and our spiritual health affects our physical health. And emotional traumas to our emotional body can manifest physically. Happens all the time.
And it does, and I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there that their ears are perking up, know, because there's so many people out there that are sick.
Yes.
Their doctors, they can't get the answers that they're looking for, and they don't understand why. That's the number one thing is that. You said to me before we came on that there are 3 leading causes of death.
Of the 3rd leading cause of death.
And what is the 3rd leading cause of death?
The 3rd leading cause of death.
Listen to this, everyone. You're not going to believe it.
I just found this out yesterday. Medical errors, according to a Johns Hopkins study, medical errors are the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States, accounting for up to 251,000 deaths a year. However, less than 10% of medical errors are reported. This is not conspiracy theory nonsense. This is regular Google stuff. Some of these errors include operating in the wrong body part, leaving surgical instruments inside a patient, performing the wrong procedure, anesthesia errors resulting in brain damage, coma, death, being prescribed the wrong medicine, misdiagnoses. In the hospital, we can get sepsis. Patient falls. They call them pressure ulcers, which are bed sores. which are inexcusable, and on and on. And all this says to me, Carol, is that today more than ever, it is imperative that people start taking responsibility for their health and their health care. You have to get involved. And what's great about today is we have this thing called the internet, and all the information is at our fingertips.
It is, but I think that's what's important is that you have to have somebody who can decipher
Yeah.
that information, because there's a lot of information.
A lot of information.
You can also get scared
Right.
from a lot of it.
Overwhelmed.
Okay, definitely overwhelmed. And when you speak with Daniel, you talked about being an advocate,
Oh, sure.
and that's what you are.
I've helped many people with their oncology issues, or just walking through the maze. It's great to have an advocate, especially when you're sick. Now, I know many insurance companies offer advocates. I had one when I had my hip replacement with Aetna. She made sure I got all the money I was entitled to. But when we're sick, it's great to have an advocate, somebody who knows what they're talking about, that has your back, and that's going to fight for you, because it can be a challenge.
When you're not well, it's really hard for you to even want to try and think about anything else
Yes.
but feeling bad, because you don't feel good.
Right.
Right? And like, for instance, I'll give a good example. My mom was on I think it was 12 or 14 different medications.
Oh my God.
And she weighed 82 pounds, and she had all this, and when she came, I wasn't living
Right.
there with her. When she came home, because she couldn't be in the hospital anymore, they couldn't keep her in the rehab anymore, which is another thing that people are gonna find out. But the fact is that I was like, oh my God, what is all of this? Now, I'm not that person, but I could tell right off the bat, she's got too much medicine.
Something was wrong.
Exactly.
Something was wrong.
That's where you can come in and say to that person, well, why are you on this? Why?
Why? And we have lots of doctors, especially when we're older, and we don't need it all. If you're on a statin, please stop. Stop.
I've heard they're terrible.
And they're terrible. They call us Alzheimer's. And for the record, I'm not a doctor. I'm not offering medical advice. But get an advocate and listen to your gut first and foremost. I have a good story about that after the break.
So we've got a couple of minutes before
Okay.
we go. I do want to give out your information. Okay. So first of all, his phone number is 602-400-9103. He's located right here in Phoenix, and you could check him out on his website, which is whitewolfblackbear.com. Now, maybe it's you, or
Yeah.
maybe it's someone that you know, because you know something? That's what I love about this show, this part of it, is that it's networking.
Yes.
And it may not be you might be very
A
healthy,
loved
but
one,
a lot
a
of people,
colleague,
oh
a
my
neighbor.
gosh. Yeah, most people know somebody who's not doing well. And let's let them get this information and help them. Also, Reiki.
Yeah.
You do Reiki, and
Reiki
I want
master
to talk
teacher. Reiki is energy medicine. But if you're not feeling well, your doctors can't help you out, you know somebody that's in that situation, please, by all means, give me a call.
The number to call again is 602-400-9103. The website is whitewolfblackbear.com. And what I love about you
Yeah.
is you're so real. When you think about shamans and all this kind of thing, you think very different picture
Oh.
than when you come into the picture, you know?
Yes.
And I love that about you. Total, really true, says it like it is, but is the most real person.
Anything.
I love it. And you've been around. You've
Yes.
also got a lot behind you. Again, that number to call him is 602-400-9103, whitewolfblackbear.com. Hang tight, we'll be back in just a minute.
Okay.
We're still live in the room.
Okay,
So
good.
you like that part, it went so
Yeah,
fast.
yeah. I want to talk about also about listening to your gut, and I want to talk about this.
And you said you have a story.
Yeah, this guy that came to see me with long COVID syndrome.
Okay.
He didn't listen to his gut, but luckily things worked out for him for the better. But listen to your gut, because when you're overwhelmed with all that medical information, many people just give up, and that's what happens. And I get it. Okay? Especially if you're alone, it's just like too much for one person.
Right, absolutely. That's what happened with my mother. She gave up. And I was going to say, and I don't want to talk about this on the air, but unfortunately with Medicare, there's only a certain amount they allow, right? So you're in the hospital,
Mhm.
and now they've gotten to you where you're well, but not 100%.
Right.
You might have to go to rehab.
Okay, sure.
So you go to rehab. If you don't get better or strong enough,
Mhm.
they don't keep you there because
What do they
Medicare
do?
only lasts a certain amount of time. Now the money's run out,
So what do they do?
so either you pay cash for that, which
Mhm.
most people can't.
Right.
They say go home and go call hospice, and that's what they do,
Oh, really?
and that's what they did.
With your mom?
Uh-huh.
Oh, F that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And 4 days she was gone.
Oh,
And
90
my
seconds.
Sorry, passed
my
away?
my father thought, oh, this is good. This will be better because she'll be at home and she'll see her home and she'll have the will.
But she didn't have to die.
But she did
Because she was convinced she was going to die.
she just didn't have enough strength.
Maybe sometimes we get too tired. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, and that's another thing. But
And
she was
that's
only
okay.
83
Okay,
and not unhealthy.
okay.
Not you looked at her and thought she was because she was so thin,
Mhm.
but she was that way all her life. She was born that way.
Okay.
But yeah, and that's a sad thing, and it happens a lot. Whereas it happened to my mother-in-law. Now she had enough money where she ended
How
up.
long was this rehab for?
It's only a certain amount. Depends on how much money you're allotted.
Okay.
And everybody's different on that one because everybody's got a different insurance policy.
Mhm.
Some are short then, but they all run out, and then they're done. Medicare says, "I'm sorry, we're not paying anymore." So they come to you and say, "Well, you're not sick enough to stay here,
Mm.
but you're not,
No, I get it. A friend of mine was in a hospice, and the hospice was great. He started to feel better, and they kicked him out.
Well, that's better though. That's good. That's a better
No.
story."
Yeah. But anyway, okay. But yeah, I definitely want to talk about this guy.
I got you.
And listening to your gut. Because so many times we're feeling something else. Our doctors are saying one thing, but we're feeling something else.
Oh yeah. So welcome back, everyone. At the break we were talking a little bit about people's health, and my mom. We were talking a little
Yes.
bit more stories about that. But one of the things that Daniel's is saying is right now, people really need to listen to their gut. That's major for you.
When we are ill and we get inundated with all this information, and most of it is very technical, and we're not feeling well, and we're sick, and before we give up, a lot of times what we're told by our healthcare professionals just doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't feel right, it probably is not right. Get a second opinion. Please, always get a second opinion and listen to your gut. I have a story about a client that came to see me from Northern California, and this man was sick. This was late this summer. He had something called long COVID syndrome. Long COVID syndrome, Carol, it attacks the gut, the lungs, the heart, and the brain with devastating amounts of inflammation. And you get long COVID syndrome from the COVID shot. I don't care who says what. And he got the shot. It was June of 22. 60 days later, he was so sick he couldn't get out of bed. But during that whole time, he did not want to get the shot. His intuition was screaming at him to not get the shot. But he and his wife had an elderly relative living with them. This elderly relative's doctor said to this elderly relative, if everyone in your home does not get the COVID shot, you will die. So my client gets the shot and almost dies himself. He, after the 2 months, he was sick. He went to the hospital for another 2 months, and they couldn't do much of anything for him. So he came to me as a last resort. And luckily, things turned out well for this gentleman. He comes down for his session, and we had just one healing session, one shamanic healing session. And now, during the healing ceremony, Carol, usually there's a big shift, and people leave in a different state. They're usually happier, perkier, more energized. This gentleman, he said he was more relaxed. That was about it. It wasn't until he went home 4 days later, he sent me this email. Daniel, thank you. This past week has been miraculous. The Adam from last week would have described it as unbelievable. I'm still very much going through this experience, rather it's going through me, and I couldn't be happier. And we Zoomed. It was a week and a half after our session, and when his video feed opened up, Carol, I was looking at a different guy. He was happy, he was up, he was talking, he was laughing, and he was talking about God and miracles and a completely different person. And what happened was, He was a broken man. He was depressed. He was sad. He was feeling hopelessness. And his spirit healed. God healed his spirit, and that changed everything for him. His spiritual body was healed, and everything else came along for the right. Like his body wasn't healed immediately. He's still going to rehab and PT because he needs to. He's laying around for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But he is happy, and he's not going back to his old job. He was an accountant in a big firm working 16 hours a day, and now he's hanging out, talking about God and miracles and Jesus.
Now, the phone number to call Daniel, not Jesus,
Right?
is 602-400-9103. It's whitewolfblackbear.com. I would like for you to explain what it's like to go through a shamanic healing session with you.
Okay, well, my shamanic healing sessions, this is a very special kind of session because, Carol, I put together a blend of traditions and practices. Some of these practices are ancient, some of them are modern, and I came up with my own blend of medicine. And what we do initially is we talk. We do a lot of talking, and talking will uncover what is truly going on. People show up, they have an idea what's happening, but many times there's an unaddressed trauma laying around, or they're under the attack by a demon and don't know it. But we find out what's going on, then I start the ceremony. I get them on the table, and I start. I use sage, I use holy water, I use sound therapy tools, frequency healing tools, bells, chimes, tuning forks. The sage, my prayer fan, and I always finish up every session with about 15 minutes of Reiki energy medicine. What these sessions do, I open up the person, their aura, their body, their mind, their spirit. We do the healing work, then we close things up. And what the Reiki energy does, first off, it relaxes the person considerably, and it helps to integrate all the healing work that we did during the session. I'll start out with 5 minutes at the beginning, then 15 minutes at the end. The sessions last about an hour and a half. If you're new, it might be 2 hours. Some people come in and talk for 10 minutes. Some people talk for an hour. We all need to vent and get it off our chest. And that's what I'm here for.
And it's more so than an advocate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Totally.
That's when I'm outside of my studio. I will advocate for clients.
Mm-hmm.
But my main thing is a healer. I'm a healer. People come to me.
And I want to talk really quickly too.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up and
Sure.
shoot every time you come on, because one of the things that you do, I think you still do it,
Yeah.
is work in the hospital at Banner.
Yes, there's 2 Banner hospitals in Mason, Banner Baywood, Banner Heart Hospital. I've been working there for 3 years, offering Reiki treatments to patients and staff.
Yeah.
And it is a groundbreaking program. I'm so grateful that I get to participate, and it is cool.
I mean, what's really cool
It
is
really
it's
is.
Banner.
Right, Banner's doing it, and walk in with my credentials and know everybody, chit chat, and we're part of the machine there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a groundbreaking program, and it's very forward thinking. But as we move forward, we're going to see things like Reiki practice in medical settings more and more,
Mm-hmm.
because it works.
Right.
The science is behind it. It works.
Also, there's something else that you can do, and I know we haven't talked about this, so
Yep.
hopefully it's okay.
Sure.
A lot of people get prescribed medicines, and you, from what I remember you
Mhm.
telling me, that you can actually put together more natural.
Yes, I had a client, she came to me from California, and she had breast cancer, and she refused to do the oncology route, and I saluted her for that. I put together a treatment protocol of plant medicine, anti-parasitic medicine, energy medicine, and my healing sessions. And she stayed for 2 months, and when she left, she went back to California. She had to have it removed. We shrunk it down. It was like a quarter of the size of a pea and very hard.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to break it up. I didn't want it to go into her body anywhere else. I didn't want it to spread. When she had it removed, she was fine. I talked to her just 2 months ago.
That's awesome.
No cancer.
So
We don't have to do the oncology.
oncology is huge, and people get scared. The first thing they want to do is just go and take care of it. Get it out. Just get it out. But now you should,
There-
not to say that you shouldn't do that,
Right.
but work along with you.
Yeah, there are cures for cancer out there, Carol. There are many of them. There's a site called PubMed, sponsored by the National Institute for Health. There are plant medicine studies showing that they cure certain kinds of cancer. It's there. you have cancer, please give me a call. Let me walk you through it.
That number to call is 602-400-9103, whitewolfblackbear.com. It's really all about, let's say, having a consultation with you. You're going to
Sure.
sit down, you're going to talk to them. Everybody's got a story.
Well, consultations, we do the consultation on the phone and make sure it's a good fit, and that's always free. Then we set up the appointment for the session.
Right.
And we do some more talking.
And it is all about talking.
Talking. Everybody needs to get it off your chest, whatever it is. And many times through talking longer, we actually get to the truth. We have to, peel that onion. Many times some people don't know what is actually the root cause of whatever their challenge may be.
Well, I think that people, I think more and more though, people are getting more accepting,
Oh, yeah.
right?
After 2020, one of the many things we learned was that, our healthcare system is not what we would like it to be. I'm not dogging it, I'm just saying.
Right.
It is what it is, and people started looking for more.
And I think you do work along with regular medicine.
Oh, yes,
Right.
absolutely. I'm not here to replace anyone, Carol.
Right.
My ideal scenario in the future is a blend of Western medicine, Chinese medicine, okay, with acupuncture, herbs. There's an ancient medical practice out of India called Ayurvedic medicine, which is all about balance, like Chinese medicine, energy medicine, shamanic medicine, a blend of everything has a place. Western medicine is much more intervention. It's an intervention. We get sick, we go to the doctor. Where the others are about getting and staying healthy and in balance.
And getting to the root cause, that's
Yeah.
really important. Because, you can put a Band-Aid over anything and you're gonna feel better for a little while.
And that happens a lot where our doctors don't exactly know, so they're gonna prescribe something for these symptoms.
And it doesn't matter what the cause is. I mean, I'm saying, not the cause, that's the wrong word. What they're dealing with. Because we talked a lot about cancer, which is huge, but they can have anything.
What happened to me recently? I have this condition on my skin, had it for 10 years. Every dermatologist I went through, they give me a topical. This last one I went to, I said, I know it's something in me that's doing this. And you can find it, it's a type of candida. He gave me more topical, but nothing to address the candida inside.
But now how can you do that? Can you do that to yourself, or do you have to?
Yeah, there are natural cures for candida. I'm
Right.
on that.
I think what's really important, folks, is what he said from the get-go, which is taking responsibility. I love the way that you said that,
Yes.
for your own health.
We have to.
And also listening to your gut. He said that your gut's going to tell you exactly what's going on too. And talking about it. His phone number to call